evening, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center. Welcome to the Wanda Coleman Theater. My name is Quentin Ring. I am Beyond Baroque's executive director, and we have a really fun night tonight. We're here to celebrate Joanna Fuhrman's new book, Data Mind. Got it here for sale, yes. We have Deborah Meadows with us also, who's celebrating a new book, Bumblebees. And Maya Salome is here to read as well. Very excited about that. It's going to be a fun evening. It's nice to be here, warm in the theater and not out. It's cold outside. But before we get started, I just want to say a few words. I wanted to start by acknowledging Beyond Baroque's presence here on unceded Tongva territory. We acknowledge the wrong done to indigenous peoples through settler colonialism, genocidal practices, and the violent dispossession of their lands. And as an arts organization, Beyond Baroque is committed to uplifting indigenous writers, their narratives, and their art. For those of you who don't know, Beyond Baroque has been a space and a community dedicated to poets, writers, artists, and to the imaginative possibilities of language since 1968. That makes us 57 years old this year. And we fulfill our mission in a variety of ways. We have a variety of writing workshops, including our Wednesday night poetry workshop, which has been running continuously since 1969. We have a variety of intensive master classes, multi-week seminars, things like that. And we also have a reading and performance series right here in this theater. We have about 100 events a year. So pretty much every weekend there's multiple events going on in here. We have some exciting ones coming up. This year, 2025, is the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. And so next weekend, we'll be having a program with several writers and artists, including Viet Dong Nguyen, Lan Duong, May Elliott, and the artist An Lê. They'll be here in conversations to talk about the Vietnamese diaspora, the effects of the Vietnam War, and what it means to be a writer and an artist as part of the Vietnamese diaspora. That should be a great program. And then on February 21st, we have an evening of Polish poetry in translation. We have the Polish poet Krzysztof Sivczek, and his translator, Peter Florczek, would be here. And so it'll be a really fun program as well. So do come back for that. And we've got plenty more if you want to check out our website or social media. There's lots of stuff going on all the time. If you appreciate what we do and the program tonight and the work we do in general, we'd very much appreciate it if you could consider becoming a member. We have started charging for events again this year. We had stopped that following the pandemic for as long as possible, but due to some funding cutbacks in the arts, we had to start charging again. But if you become a member, you get in for free to most of our events. You get a discount on our paid workshops, you get a discount on our bookstore, and you generally help what we do and help us pay poets, help us pay staff, keep the doors open. So it costs as little as $60 if you're a student or senior, $75 is a regular membership, $100 is a dual membership, and then we have levels above that. But you can see Nick in the bookstore, do it online. Those of you who are members, we really appreciate it. It's pretty grim out there for everybody, but like the arts are like definitely part of that, so we appreciate it. And I hope we can all take care of each other over the next months and years. Beyond that, I just think we should get to the program. Very grateful to our staff for keeping everything running, especially Ivan Salinas, Eric Alberg, who are here in the theater with us tonight. And I'm very grateful to all the artists for being here. So to dive into it, we're going to welcome Maya Salome first, who is the author of How to Make an Algorithm in the Microwave, which we have for sale. It's the winner of the Ethel Adnan Poetry Prize, and she's also the author of the chapbook Rue. She has served as a national poet, national student poet, America's highest honor for youth poets, and received fellowships and support from the Breadloaf Environmental Writers Conference, Sewanee Writers Conference, Martha Vineyard Institute for Creative Writing, and the President's Committee for the Arts and the Humanities. Her work has appeared or is forthcoming in Poetry, the Offing, Gulf Coast, the Rumpus, Agni, and the LA Times, amongst others. I think you just got an NEA fellowship or I think I saw that. So congratulations on that as well. So please, everybody, welcome Maya Salome.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you to BB for having me here and to our night of celebrating Joanna's book. I'm just so happy to be here. I actually learned yesterday that the President's Committee for the Arts and Humanities has been dismantled. So yeah, we're living in the bad place, and whatever we can do to support artists and support places like Beyond Baroque, I think we should be doing. Yeah, I'm super happy to be here, and I'm going to be reading from my book, How to Make an Algorithm in the Microwave. Sleep apnea with city block. One night, the street is to the left. The next, its artery is repaved. 961, my mother watches me in the bathroom. The house shrinks to the fabric across my breasts, and haven't I been good? Cross my legs for the priests and capitalists. 6-1, it takes me 4 neighborhoods to fall asleep. I scrape the skin off nectarines. 619. The rich devour my coast, buy homes by the same ocean that stole so many husbands. The sea is the last wife, and teenagers dump electronics in her lap. 619. It's the end of January, and I'm still anemic. 9-6, I pull her shirt and make myself an altar. 6-1, a street is built like this. An icon sold a limb of cement. A relic found the internet. I stashed the orange moon under my 5th molar, and it's been feeding me ever since. 961 and Lemon Grove looks like the Mediterranean from 2 blocks down, and once I dreamt I had a daughter. I never slept again. 6-1 Saida, like cicadas in August. 6-1 I am singing. It is the rosary again. I want to be ordinary, intact as a man in uniform. 9-6 I sing like an elegy with the city in it. Catalog of algorithmic errors. According to Corinthians, I microwave oatmeal, listen to birds, fill the bin with unsuccessful chains of psalms. The apostle sits at his desk and tries rendering the verse. A boy, saffron permeating the room. What experience did I have of asking? We sit in the grass, repeating our abbreviated stories. Here is my pistachio house on Campanile Drive. Here is my front porch. Kiss, graduate, contents, pecan, suffocate, sweetheart, laughter, knitting, volcano, broom, vanilla, paradise, curtains, oven, hammer, hunter, miracle, fingerprint, milk, duct, romantic, funeral, freezer, palm. But some evenings my desk will widen, and I will be young and unknown, sitting in my wicker chair committing new praises, the sunlight like a river of milk. A sermon is politics. I think of his shoulders wide as parabolas. I fondle my binary through my shirt. We call this Leviathans. How to Lazarus yourself. Santa Monica and your uncle in an empty house, singing like the interstate. Your palms are pressed to the pews of the Syriac Catholic Church's fundraised hall, and you see the saints never leave us, even when we can't afford to live in actual Los Angeles. We commiserate about the cost of homes in Chula Vista. We find a soccer player to fill our time with. A boy is an accessory to a story, tasteless and a little overpriced. We romanticize absence, chemicals, playing a song you love for your friends and realizing the hook is kind of lazy. Remember the past dramatically and selfishly, the way women aren't entitled to having motorcycle accidents. Don't make an amenable saint. When the time comes, you intend to die with your limbs unsalvageable and yours, somewhere you don't have any cousins, maybe in Seattle. Learn to fill a room like your grandmother, inhaling the citrus out the walls and blooming it. Kill the constitutions under your bed and survive with an open window and arteries that still function. Afterwards, your poems are gory, but you are still around to write them. Watch your son in the mirror. Call your mother and talk about traffic or the cost of apples. Don't mention the insomnia or her portrait of the sun bleeding out. This is called Pun It with Amy, Amy Winehouse, who I'm obsessed with, and it's specifically after one of the videos of her very last performances. Yeah, I just think she was done many disservices and she deserved better. The poem looks like this. It's supposed to be like a Punnett square. Like dime store gold, I pile on a couch for the holiday and shine like rust. I'm 6. The television is blaring. Her hair is a beehive. Crosses piled on her neck. She scats her indigo stomach, her Marlboros, her staccato body, her battered jeans. Algorithm. Amy makes a pattern with her throat. The screen stutters. Music is a technology. Meaning music is a technology. Meaning I serenade the headline from my throat. Her voice is iridescent, my Arabic like me, bent and arching, us on the kitchen floor, me reciting my stomach. Amy opens her mouth with a country in it and croons my ribs open. Fhemd. My dress blossoms loudly, and it is Boston. Bint her testament, my tattered breast. Fhemd. Words are a business. We bleed glottal for the audience. We confess elegant without confessing. There is a photo of her and an insincere smile. Baba liked to say we were descended from royalty. He was lying, but I walked like I believed him. The screen cracks, we pour in jasmine, rain, oranges. We peer back. I have a brittle conviction I will make a beautiful woman. Sorry for all the post-it notes, guys, but it helps me keep track of things. I'm going to read This Country Smells of Not Enough Doctors' Offices. So I sit in my room, do useless things. I wait for the demise of the state. I rewatch Vampire Diaries, order pancakes riddled with blueberries. The officers at the protest switch lines in front of us, badges glinting like clitoris. If given the chance, I'd ruin a girl like a monument, use my acrylics to model history into her. I drink tangerine juice, put on the windows, stars, a cluster of empty parks. I retch America into the sink. I wear silk. My uncle works in a hospital. The neighbors are disfiguring a top 40 song next door, and men who look like mine watch other men like the officer does, and thus the officer is replicated in the liquor store, and the law preserves itself in aisle 7 next to cherries in a jar. A country is desires, appetite, ears, hands, mouth. The hospital I was born in was called Zion. The doctors never warn you about the poem between your legs, and my phone doesn't recognize me anymore. But the girls with the appetite flooding the room, pinning them to their bed. I pick my entrails from the back seat. The officer says community. Who will speak of me to strangers? A torso, a wing, a mouth. And my blood is everywhere, and cheap, even in my feet. I have 2-3 more poems for y'all. Y'all still with me? Go. I can't see you guys, so I'm just talking to the void here, which I tend to do. This one is called Bronchitis is a Beautiful Name for a Girl. California is kindling again. It's been 6 bushfires, and I'm nobody's daughter calculating venial sins on the hood of a Buick. My brother tugs his sleeves, and his lungs stream. We scratch the secondhand Commodore's album, and he smiles mundane and lovely like a grocery list. Nail polish, carabiner, Advil, fruit. I'm calling because the city is filled with pollutants. Because the duplex with the red roof is falling apart. I'm calling because we argue like tonsils, swollen and stubborn. We watch the in-and-out cashier wash his gloves off in the sink, and my shirt makes me look fertile. We laugh about used biology books, the Disney movie about the dragon boy. We make the sky bloom. We split the scrambled runes in our stomach. I have an aching letter in my mouth the insurance won't cover, but I'm really afflicted with wanting, the smell of pavement after rain. I'm calling because I have no aunts in this country to call for condoms or advice, but watch, I walk around with prose jammed between my legs. Watch, I've never loved the same mistake twice. My brother dances and the song roams throats until it finds mine. In a dream the algorithm broke the windows of, it's Massachusetts. I'm a magnesium-deficient miracle who only shaves on Thursdays. He's got new Skechers. We make calligraphy with our shoes walking back from school. The rash of coffee shops in El Cajon, the dilapidated Vons on Medford Street. I'm calling because California is kindling again, and he refuses medicine like I used to. I'm calling because we found the generic for Sudafed and it tasted green. I'm calling because I still bow my head in churches. My survival instinct is too strong. Okay, and I am going to leave you all with the Presbyterian Church on Euclid doesn't sell lemonade anymore. I take the mosh pit, the lime jewels on the hardwood floor, the nice-smelling white girls wearing hoops just big enough to be questionable, the tired metaphor of me limericking your belt loops. You speak like the halted development on Madison Avenue, and a kidney is just an organ with an important job. In catechism, they told us St. Barbara escaped the steeple, read all the forbidden books. The luxury towers on Park shimmer. We were told this was revolutionary. A girl cornering God in a cramped room, availing herself of him in the dark. We watch cranes smear the horizon, and a jellyfish, even when determined, is really just a blot of ink. I was raised to love resurrected things, and the junior college across the street is full of juice boxes, blue pens, Puritan dreaming. Like opium, I smile for no reason. Like homily, you sing for us both. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Maya, please. Thank you for that. Right, next up, we have Deborah Meadows, who has published over a dozen books of poetry, and her new book, Bumblebees, is out from Roof Books. Other recent titles include Neo Bedrooms, and 3 from Blaise Vox lecture notes, a duration poem in 12 parts, The Demolition of Pluto, Poems and Plays, and 3 plays. She is an emerita faculty member with Cal State, with Cal Poly Pomona, and lives with her husband in Los Angeles' Arts District in Little Tokyo. It's always a real pleasure to be able to welcome Deborah to Beyond Baroque. So please, everybody, welcome Deborah Meadows, who I cannot see, but she is here.
Thank you, Quentin. And thank you for the whole Beyond Baroque group. And it's great to read with Joanna and with Maya. It's really wonderful. I'll be reading from Bumblebees, and the first poem is titled Ant Hills. Our recent look at how humans inhabit time disintegrates to images, smoke curling from chimneys, idea of anteroom, practice of porch. We drew a box to cite windows. We received no answer when hospitalized, no birthday or grandkids. Your face wiped off readily, your phone sends itself a message, makes a demand, comes loose. Here's a paper white narcissus you can't dance to, text as texture, facture, defeated by a bug late in the game. What comes next? Some used walks to resolve a mess by elimination, but when no one was there, caught on a cam, uploaded hits, archived, retrieved, alienated, infested, nearly extraterrestrial in its being, barely carbon-based. Breathing is a way to tell, life support, tree respiration and out. So we play in cardboard boxes, appliances come in, visit structure in our mind. A taller anthill to snooze through mentally, a house where we once lived, plans we drafted for one unbuilt, where we won't enjoy rooftop open air. Read without sheathing, hang it on the wall, totemic past, a reduced ornament, our need for stairs, the concealed page out back. Letter came, no reply made sense, zip shut. The way out of the hives, not the way inside, stuck with oxbow shape, makes no sense, jingled small change. Price charged against us, scalloped by wind, patterned, neither bomb blast nor sea breeze fenced out Thor, his offspring, but pondside, egrets, twilight, diapers, diopter count, soft shoe, do the whooping crane, moonwalk, asemic writing, hardly stuff of family memories, emotive engines, cultured story of belonging within those parameters. I'm turning to the long title poem, Bumblebees, and I'm reading segments. This starts about halfway through. Flavored by mineralized volcanic soils, we wake and savor our accomplice unknown. Interiors stage dialogue in strange places tangentially referred to with a gate out of here. Imagine an hour, hear our digital thermometer, our false satisfaction, fumbled at sorry. We exchange large segment with difference encoded. We pretend body fronts other body, refracted purpose, bones of it shudder-worthy, they crack, played at being lions, beauties, absolute. Breach thought, attentive then suspended, suspense as enfolded physical blanket state. Please use the place we left behind, tend the animals, you many, caring. Everything on the outside skin, everything runs on inner life. We cannot know their thoughts, their fluids, no ultimate meaning, text, location shift. Leisure again, our recumbent bicycle way, subsoil surviving when ignored best, stakes pulled by tension and tiebacks, we collapse, crumple fabric, prior existence. Somewhat unlikely, we had to stand a long time, misquoted again but colorfully additioned, remove spill from seabirds carefully, shelter fun. We knew that frail thing couldn't endure as fragment, sang along with car radios. Baseline joy instills you, damaged thing, goofy outfit over it all. Made up cause, we said, unexpectedly, put it back together again, ground borders to sausages for diversion cats and a strike for impurity. We were sporting kilometers. Impressed against our will, got up idea of having one, they came for our grain, but unseen underground, our cassava, yam, potato fall back against short winter light. By overly taxing efforts, tight pants, flimsy blouse, we knew migratory season is vast, expenditure of heat, magnetic reckoning, humble twig. We ate unquestioningly when fully incorporated without wings, marked ghostly, our consubstantial theme almost free of disgust. Is this another gift stolen from slaves, long-chain polymers for self-quenching fire, precious jet fuel additive? Prometheus dominated by unworthies of Dow Chemical? Absurd lives answer fumbled effort. Our landmarks mere cultural relics of ignored earth, left alone outcropping, slip plate totem, inactive saber-tooth cat zone. Back there, we stored pataphysical laughter, debraining jokes, push-up chemic answers to sewer remittance, ring-around pratfall authors. Our aerial water drops preserve forests of egrets, seashells, thrown out sounding, solo folded down word-cornered globe, root countenance, opaque no longer. Desire in terms of exploration, we came to overdepend on heat shields, surely a mark of their success, and equipped with Piscean visual filters, we thrilled to neon nights at sea. With or without conchology grid, we had Murex beauty. We began to study warming, acidifying of their ancestral site, ventriloquism. We didn't need squirrels to learn how to chatter, we followed our conscience. Thigh deep, we faced the sea's extent. Good primates like us groom, spell, frame retreat as the sentinels of no outer point. Unsatisfied by any particular location, our strange dislocation crowded the concept of journey as a field leveled for all comers. We were just walking. Walking was never transparent. Fractional distillation of water, not harmless material of cloud watchers such as we walking here, soon to join cyclonic force, uproot, spread wide. I'm going to turn to another segment from the book titled Pollen Situations. There's an LA reference here, the 6th Street Bridge. left the tried path of here and back, not enclosed, self-sufficient island, flight from here to big slab of aggression. Here, music tempers, takeover, burnouts on 6th Street Bridge, body and property, public work over transversal tracks, drainage channel posing as river, someone squatting against skyline of extractive corporate headquarters, movement while waiting, itinerant men, not ways to preserve, but simply create singular time with word order, somehow defies tradition of calligraphy and typographic play, some glow in the dark, tripped over words. Helicopter into human heat signature, same by growth, crystallized form, how Hong Kong artists code umbrellas against gas, when old guys were young, tentative, parodic quest, tick summergrass and woodlands, old threat, new injustice, prying social worker, invasive property flipper, 294-page LA River master plan thrown, municipal sink, exuberant foot traffic, sensuous August night air, iced drinks, laughter, looked into scheme, flimsy example of remnant language. Artists can't resist writing about the late mountain lion, P22, so I got in line with that. This is titled Esplanade City. Mange, injuries on mountain lion P22, car culture, inbreeding, never knew what fell outside genetic purview. Ignored under lawn furniture, paintings done by animal people who kept running. Collaborate in hippodrome of satiric gross-outs, gouged history, go faster, pass on the left, chronic field for now, temps. Esplanade City our lion couldn't shake off. We're not a set of raindrops on his coat. Wild bees can make it right where things are, or better, left alone. How adapted instruments sly tone. To coat those innards prepared to seek your look at intimate extruded pearl, your aha, let go, hear song's hook, shimmy a command performance for now. We flash our compound eyes, use an accent most fine urbane, given intense phrasing, heterodox aversion to Aristotelian thought. Our mummers erase distinctive regional vowel fortitude, tongue to hiss, load ready to roll off an anther, snake eyes. Saying it says, come inside, it's quiet. Heavy ideological centuries, but not only ideological, per Stuart Hall, not exhaustively, more to study. Apocryphal sea crossing, theory jubilee, influence now recognized as confluence. Antihistamine states foot on the neck, parlance of force, emblem of sudden terror, syntax-free, cobweb or gun sight. Just passing by, just passing through Petrarch and rye fields. Snow-covered cars, tombstones under Buffalo streetlights. No ha-ha here. We remember. Yes, we do. Project a hominid future. Carry bag into projected future. Tools, numeracy. Tomorrow and tomorrow. I'm going to close with the last segments of a longer poem titled Three-Part Lines. Leveled possibility, people counting, seen and heard, sentence that got lost in thought, detective show, enigmatic motive, vowel resonant substrate, drum, torso of her earth, hard to distinguish personal from historic, reference in literary line. Former lover or French grad school poem, our youth, concocted images that haven't already existed in film, literature, comics, horror of dying with everything complete, beauty of unfinished script. Soon our fox will open the carcass for us ravens, eyes already gone from the master narrative, disputation, a mere refinement of joint effort, our ensemble cast separated a weak one, aged, lame metaphor. Can austere sculpture save our experiment in democracy? can bear theater life. Cushion's sequence came to town, fell into present time in concho-belted skirt, peasant blouse refinement. Similarity had simple rules complex to obey. Overripe fruit, invention of first days. Origin as unmythic as stone. Last chance tourism near glacial limit. Inexplicable how more office towers are built over vacancy and forest fire smoke. And worse, actually very explicable motive. Roses behind deer fencing, extremely beige comedy, return to primal wound as if redesign could be drawn, restore clouds, suture vessel we shipped out on, cool the self-inflicted fever here. Thanks.
Deborah Meadows, everybody, please. Thank you, Deborah. That was lovely. And last up, we have Joanna Fuhrman, who is the author of Data Mine and 6 previous poetry collections, most recently To a New Era. Her poems have been featured in the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day series, the Slowdown podcast, and the Pushcart Prize and Best American Poetry anthologies. She was an assistant teaching professor in creative writing at Rutgers University and a co-editor of Hanging Loose Press. We've admired Joanna from afar for a long time, so we're very glad to be able to welcome her here to Beyond Baroque. Please, everybody, welcome Joanna Fuhrman.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Maya and Deborah, for such beautiful readings. So the idea of this book, Data Mind, which just came out, is it's kind of all poems about the internet or about digital life from the perspective of a non-digital native. And they're all prose poems, so they sort of resemble computer screens. And there's also some memes in there, if you look. Oh, this light is so bright. Like a bit of a shock. And I'm still getting used to these progressive glasses, so we'll see. The algorithm ate my lunch. I wanted everyone to feel the way my teeth vibrated, but when I posted my glow-in-the-dark selfie, only the closet mermaids noticed. I didn't blame anyone. I knew the oceans were walking heavy-footed on the land. It was one of those afternoons when I was sure that God was the series of tubes connecting my brain to the torso of a deer. Was it possible that the self was larger than the country that birthed it? Could a mouth open large enough to accommodate the girth of a bloated nation's whale? I hung a sign that read, "Hope," on the taxidermied body of an owl and waited for applause. Children gathered around to worship, sticking microchips and slivers of sunlight in its missing, blinking eye. Are you the invisible song that was playing? To wear a blindfold in the algorithmic state, one must trust that the crowd is closer to a mosh pit than an ocean. One morning, your glass of orange juice is replaced by a beacon of sunlight, and from then on, the square of sadness you carry in your pocket feels heavier. When I was a data point, I posted to a forum a question about the effects of perimenopause. And when the answers came back, I trembled in their presence. My love of the internet was like my love of the city. In each, I wandered underground, smelling of pomegranates and hemorrhoid cream. Yesterday, on the subway, I overheard a woman with a voice like a cartoon parrot complaining of her Macy's coworker's purchase of a thong for clubbing. The picture showed just what it is, a sack for your dick and balls. So this poem I wrote a few years ago when the internet was full of these videos of cakes that looked like objects, and then people were like, is it cake? Is it not cake? So this is kind of like a mashup of like riffing on the cake video phenomenon and the poetry wars of the 90s. Poetica fondant. I baked a cake in the shape of a moon, and no one could tell what was a cake and what was the moon. When I cut it open, it tasted like overly sweetened watermelon tea and smelled like the shadows of the leaves on a lake. I loved it. But then the bloggers arrived, complaining that my baking was bougie. So I crafted a cake in the shape of my face. It had curly hair, glasses, and an open mouth that could keep talking even when no one was listening. In my big marble cake nose, I hid my people's struggles, the escape from the pogroms, and the years of overly salty chicken. I loved that cake too, but was ashamed to admit it. I had read that identity politics was just the cream filling of neoliberalism. So I baked a cake that was messy like New York. I cut it open and rode the subways inside, eating my way through dirty, glistening sidewalks like a hungry Frank O'Hara. But that was the year everyone claimed to be Frank O'Hara, even those numbskulls who hated modern art. So I baked a cake shaped like the internet. And when I cut it open, everyone who tasted it said it tasted just like the internet. And I kept eating it and eating it and eating it in a kind of durational performance until the cake itself was the internet, and I myself the somewhat delicious crumbs. So this poem has a reference to AFK, which just means away from the keyboard. The early adopter. Like a barbecued eel on a sushi plate, like the whir of a rowboat over static. Everything in her life was software. In an empty chat room in 1993, she found a stranger's glow-in-the-dark brain wiggling and saw her own brain plummeting from above. Soon it felt like everything was happening on the same pin tip. She gave up cigarettes, novels, needlework, doodling, Diet Coke, and all her AFK friends. She thought, why not just try some mac and cheese pastrami pie with groundhog foam for a chaser? Why not change your name and shoe size? Move in with a gray bearded stranger and his collection of ex-girlfriends and owl mugs. You might as well drop out. Might as well dress up your avatar and smash director sets and scars. These 6 emojis explain your life right now. I know how to wrap myself in other people's mishigas. All morning, I read about the woman from Louisiana who can't stop her son from hiding under the bed. A man in South Korea learning to fish in a hotel bathtub. A child across town who swallowed a whole marshmallow, shaped like the Guggenheim. I take screenshots of these strangers' problems and blend them into a banana kale smoothie, drink it from a wine glass with my naked ass, deeply sunk in a silk pillow. Afterwards, my body is a pink cloud with winged sneakers. I hover above the data, rain down gossip on other people's pain. This is a kind of freedom, but also what? a kind of tragic happiness, like that cowboy who thinks he can lasso transcendence and tie it to his belt buckle? Or like that photo of the lake on fire your student posted as their grinder pic, or at least claimed he did. Like everything else, you'll never actually know. Am I doing good? How it started, how it's going. I was reading a blog trying to find a recipe for lentil stew, but the story about the writer's stepdaughter's missing slipper went on for so long that by the time I had arrived at the ingredient list, the building our apartment is in had been sold and resold and sold again. And even worse, our kitchen had been replaced with a digital oven that turned all ingredients into different flavors of miniature muffins. Tofu piccata muffins, charcoal fondue muffins, hillbilly elegy muffins, death metal NFT muffins, raspberry nepo baby marble dildo muffins. One day, I threw a muffin at the moon, and to my surprise, the moon threw a muffin back. I told everyone in my activist Slack feed that this was a new kind of radical action, made more potent by its engagement in celestial intersectionality. Soon, we were a whole movement of revolutionary bakers, a federation of militant muffin throwers designed to augment anti-capitalist baking with celestial praxis. Who could have known the muffins had other plans? So, in the middle of the book, I have a bunch of poems about film. Because I figure in the internet, everything is, exists. So all the films exist. And there's like a meme that says the future leaks into the past. Sort of a one way of understanding these. A lot of them I just wrote because they're films I like. But then, like some I wanted to write about. Like I really wanted to write about Sliding Doors, even though it's not a film I like, because I feel like everyone's obsessed with like the idea of multiverses or alternate timelines, because we all kind of feel like we're on the wrong timeline. So yeah, hopefully we all feel that. I don't know if you don't feel that. Okay. Sliding Doors. Gwyneth Paltrow cuts her hair, dyes it blonde despite her cheating ex. In power suits, she hides her loneliness in the pocket square of the first Monty Python fan who mansplains crypto to her. The other Gwyneth, creature of cottage cheese canned fruit salad, stays in the analog, gives her money to a boyfriend with a stutter, braids her hair into the window blind's cord. But where is the Gwyneth who can inhabit both Gwyneths? The crying in the bathtub Gwyneth who drinks Manischewitz from a crystal vase while simultaneously gliding in an evening gown across an awestruck carpet of chandelier-kissed cater waiters. Can there be a Gwyneth inside each Gwyneth, an infinite regress of Gwyneths? If you stare at the corner of my cell's smashed screen, you can see their reflections legible despite the surface's cracks. Here's the wind-up troll-dolled Gwyneth, the Gwyneth with librarian glasses and leather pants, the Gwyneth soaked in glistening placenta, the nosebleed shamanic Gwyneth, the Gwyneth with a house-sized shovel, the Gwyneth running, flying a kite shaped like her own face. In The Matrix, starring Nicolas Cage. Neo is a piss-ass drunk, and it doesn't matter if alcohol is only an idea. Meaning detaches from language and flies in slow motion, like shampoo commercial hair. The absent women shift behind the curtains, a mother's face camouflaged by a William Morris floral, a sister's breath hidden by the smell of an off-season fireplace. The 21st century is riding a bloodshot Ferrari into the mouth of climate change, and it needs pure vodka to make it okay. Nick is naked all the time. Even naked, he sweats through his clothes. Even when he's fully dressed, his dick swings unsheathed. You try lassoing the sky's panopticon with only a goddamn body part. He knows the world isn't real, so why not just buy a big-ass blow-up doll? Why not just wear your rubber Donald Trump mask to a crowded theater and flail your octopi limbs at the screen? And then kind of gets a little darker. I don't know. The future leaks into the past. You've memorized all the words that rhyme with cacophony, but still you can't revise the writing on the wallflower. That's capitalism, my friend. Decked out again in a gold mankini, big toe struck trapezoidally in another country's cottage fries. Hold still and let the 20th century sink in beside you. Check a box if A, the weather portends the possibility of soup. B, all the charm wore off when they put the river in a tourniquet. C, to say the lioness is in waiting is just another way of saying you've lost. D, all or none of the above. I'll read like 3 more. My American name is money. Strangers ask how you feel about terror, but when you hear, tell her, you wonder, who is this her, and why is she getting all the attention? This is a problem with coalition building. You think you're holding hands with another, but it's actually an empty rubber glove. Chirico was right about the song of love. Cruelty makes more sense when you're looking at an empty piazza than a bustling square. In the algorithmic state, the town square is a cage where we think we are having sex until we wake up and find we are thumb wrestling a robot ghost. Understand, I didn't grow up in this pixelscape. I don't know how to remake my face into a face one recognizes in the mirror. Do you still remember how it felt to share a boysenberry milkshake in the back of a truck? Have you ever felt real seafoam on another person's thinning hair? You know, I was a person once with actual wet boots. Back then, I only gurgled like protodata when it rained. My sorrow is a billboard painted with clouds. When the mass shootings are broadcast live, the internet screams, "Look, my tears are made of baby beanie frogs, tears of baby seals clubbed with incel memes, tears of pre-masticated marshmallows, of popcorn chicken refusing to pop, of robot porcupines strutting to their jobs at the baby factory or hobnobbing with RIP flies." I try to believe this sorrow. In my room at night, I draw pictures of the internet. 1, the internet as a sunglasses-wearing movie star hugging us all. 2, the internet as a house-sized cello played by a bow. 3, the internet as a movie where subtitles are replaced by a transcript of eavesdropped chatter. In bed, I see the internet as a boat, large enough to hold us all. On the moon, we feel each other's lungs with only our fingertips. Look, I say, here is the open mouth of the galaxy, and there we are inside it, typing or tapping or swiping away. In the morning when I wake, I realize I myself am the internet. I glance in the mirror and my face is an amalgam of every demographic, a map with cities crashing into each other like bumper cars, data nosediving like private planes. And I'll read the last poem in the book. Data Mind. The joke that replaced our democracy kept waiting for the laugh track to return. I tried to recalibrate my response, tried to say no thank you without turning off the lights. What misery was left, I swept up, hid away in a cracked jar. I cried out, please bring me your cheese fries, longing to be free. I tried again. I chanted now. I called out when. All the clocks in the underground supermarket struck the same mistake twice. The clown shoes grew a city on their nose. The locks picked themselves. The radio swallowed the television, which swallowed an old hunk of cheese. What I thought was my childhood wore a Groucho Marx mustache on her chest. The joke tap danced on the wall. The wall tap danced on the joke. I clapped my hands together as hard as I could, but I couldn't make anything stop. Thank you.
Some more applause for Joanna and for Maya and for Deborah as well. Thank you all so much for coming. Those are great readings. We have books for sale in the bookstore. Please do buy them, support our authors. I'm sure they'll be willing to sign books for you all. And feel free to hang out. We have a little reception in the theater, and just enjoy the evening. Thanks so much for being here.